This week's episode of This Is Only a Test is brought to you by Squarespace. Do you have big plans for the new year? Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a unique website, showcase your work, blog, or publish content, even sell products and services of all kinds in just a few clicks. You can customize everything from look and feel to settings and products using beautiful templates created by world-class designers. And there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code TEST, T-E-S-T, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Hey, let's start the show.
For Thursday, December 14th, 2017, welcome to This Is Only a Test, the official podcast of Tested.com. Whoa, 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 whoa.
This is the tested intro, the Star Wars edition.
Copyright. We can't play. Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to this week's episode. As you could tell by that very dramatic and unusual intro music, it is a momentous day.
Yeah,
December 14th.
Yeah, it means the holidays are almost here.
Almost, right. And what better way to kick off the official start of the holidays than the release of a new Star Wars film?
True that.
Star Wars, The Last Jedi. It's in theaters, I believe, tonight. Some people in the UK have already seen it. Some people in this room have already seen it.
One person in this room has already seen it, and the other two people hate that person.
Well, very envious indeed. Of course, I'm joined by Jeremy Williams and Kishore Hari.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Good. I don't have a hateful bone in my body towards you. I am thankful that you saw it. It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, I went to Lucasfilm yesterday along with many people from the games industry.
Yeah,
of all places,
because they were promoting Star Wars Battlefront.
They had some news to share about many of their Star Wars properties, including Star Wars Battlefront. Also, the AR game,
Jedi Challenges.
There's some new content coming to that.
Interesting,
related to the Last Jedi.
Why wasn't I there?
You chose not to.
That just makes me sound like a jerk.
No,
I chose not to watch Star Wars early.
Does this make it sound better? You chose poorly. Does that make you feel better? No?
I did choose poorly.
Yeah, well,
that is what happened.
It depends on your perspective. You allowed me to go, so I appreciate it. And I had a good time going there.
Great.
Saw some good friends.
Yeah.
Many of our friends were there.
Oh, so envious.
Fantastic. How was it seeing the movie at Lucasfilm? Without talking about the movie itself.
That's a great question. I loved that aspect of it because and I don't know, I guess I'm in denial about it. I want to go see movies so much more than I enjoy it these days because I'm so easily distracted by anything happening. This guy eating popcorn 2 rows back on the other side of the theater from me will distract me from a moment.
Yes.
I'm just that way. I'm poorly wired. And so in this film, of course, everyone's very respectful. Not only is everybody quiet and respectful, but they have taken your cell phone away from you. So there is no chance anybody's going to be texting in the middle of the film.
Even the person playing Star Wars AR got a phone taken away from them.
Even them.
When you watch movies in the middle of the film?
I don't, but
I mean, do you see people texting?
Yes.
I see. The thing that bothers, there's the chatter, and it depends on the film, of course. But I rarely have seen. I've seen a lot of phones out before the trailers, and even during the trailers, I do see the occasional lit up screen.
Yeah.
But when the movie's playing, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone with an actual phone out.
I have. I think there's a little bit more leeway during family films for that kind of behavior because there's all sorts of distractions happening with kids like screaming and whatnot. So I think it's a more forgivable environment.
Wow.
Anyway, the film, when I saw episode 1, I saw it in a theater with, public theater with a bunch of friends that we kind of took off midday and went to go see it. And the sound cut out, like for 5 minutes during the pod race.
Wow. That sounds really good.
So the whole theater was making their own sound effects.
Ah,
and that's how I experienced episode 1. I knew going to Lucas I wouldn't have that kind of problem.
You consider that a problem? Well, you wouldn't have the problem of the screen turning off.
Except the sound.
Right, the
But
sound
yeah,
turning
no,
off.
it was perfectly in
Got it.
focus, good sound quality.
Weird.
That was your review. How was it watching a film at Lucasfilm? Well, it was in focus.
I mean,
it sounded good.
that's all you want to hear from me today, I assume.
Yeah, you were correct.
Okay.
Well, weird question. That Lucas Theater is much more intimate than most movie theaters. It's smaller than most movie theaters. Did you feel like that was a movie that would be enjoyed in a smaller theater versus the mega theaters that we'll mostly see it at?
It's easy now. The bigger, the better. Yeah,
Ah.
I'll be seeing it in IMAX this Saturday.
Is
or
it out
Friday.
in 3D?
It is.
Oh, see, that's
Isn't
the other.
it? Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I assume.
It is. It is out in 3D.
I just don't want to watch
Boo.
these movies in 3D.
No.
anymore.
Yeah.
I think the tickets that I have for IMAX are in 3D.
I think they are.
Yeah. I don't want to, but you didn't see it in 3D yesterday.
No.
Okay, lucky. Good.
I wonder if that theater even supports 3D.
Oh, they must.
I wonder if the Pixar theater supports 3D.
Why wouldn't it?
Well, I know that their movies obviously are made also in 3D versions.
Yes.
So they must have to test
Yes,
it.
exactly.
But I don't know if like I would be very curious to know internally if on the Hush Hush if the directors actually prefer the 2D version and they would just prefer the theater.
I don't. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we'd never know.
traditionalists.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm surprised about one thing. I have been physically threatened by members of my family if I saw the movie without them.
I know.
So how did you get away with this?
What was your lie?
Because I'm gonna see it with my son this weekend, and that came up, and I said I just have to do this. You know, it's an opportunity to see it at Lucas.
I just have to do this.
And I think on some level I saw the disappointment, but then I also saw him understand.
Oh.
Did he go, Dad, go?
Did he? Wait.
Like no, but I imagined somewhere in the recesses of his 10-year-old brain that did echo.
Did it ever cross your mind to not be truthful? To skew the truth? I'm just going to grocery store for 3 hours.
That's not my style. I always play the good guy in the RPG.
Wow. So you never crossed your brain for the good of him, because did you see him when you said he was resigned? Was it more of like I'm going to pocket this and then bring up later and use it as currency?
I said, any gift I am given by George Lucas when I'm at this show tonight is yours, son.
You didn't get it. You knew there was no gift.
There
was no gift.
Came home with one stuffed porg.
You got a stuffed porg?
Norman Chan with suction cups on his paws.
Or mistakes. Mistakes were made.
While the screening was happening, I was alone, cold in the office, thinking about it.
Oh well.
I was waiting for my Slack message to light up with an invitation as I was waiting for my washer and dryer to get
I know
delivered.
so much more about porgs than you guys right now.
No, God, okay,
That's not true.
I know
know
we're gonna stop right there.
I already know that porgs are
stop.
raised parents.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop
It's
right there.
proven.
But I can't wait to pick this up next week.
Yes,
Because I have thoughts I need to talk about.
All
I
right,
need
the people must know.
Star Wars therapy.
Yeah, Star Wars therapy. That's what this podcast. I'm sure many of you out there will need potentially an outlet, or at
Yes.
least to hear us talk about it. We're gonna watch it all by next week. We're gonna talk about it next week for sure.
Well,
that's
anything you're hoping for out of this movie, Norm?
I'm hoping to be surprised. It's the scariest time right now. These next 2 days, it's so scary. I'm hoping to watch it tomorrow night. I gotta be off the internet. As some of you know, I've been not listening to trailers, not watching trailers. I went to see The Disaster Artist last week.
How was it, Norman?
Oh, hi, Jamie. Danica's already done with me, my Tommy Wiseau impressions. I did not. But before the movie, I walked into the theater with my soda in hand and popcorn in hand, and the first thing I saw was a TIE pilot being vacuum shot out of a window, escape hatch. And I said, "No, the trailer, no!" And it turned out it was Battlefront trailer.
Like I didn't know Janina Gavankar was in
no.
the movie. Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah. What else is going on? Before we get to pop culture news, we spent some time together outside of work this weekend.
That's right.
Yeah, we spent some time together in real life. It was weird meeting you guys in person.
Yeah.
Somewhere. We went to the Dickens Fair together.
We did.
We traveled back to the 1850s and or 60s.
The old Victorian London.
And we met up with our friend Gary Widow.
Yes. A good time was had by all. It was your first time there with your family, Jeremy.
Indeed, and not our last.
And Kishore, you had been there many times. You and your family, you showed up in costume.
Yeah,
You
well,
did the
we
full-
had discussed something to go together in costume.
Yep.
And I followed through. This is our third consecutive year of going. It's going to become a holiday tradition in our household.
Wait, it sounds like it already is.
What number is it?
3 is tradition.
3 is tradition. Okay.
Yeah.
I initially wasn't. I was going to Scrooge my way out that morning. I was just putting on another Infinity Gauntlet T-shirt to go, and my wife was like, "Oh, I'm just going to throw something together." And I was like, "Fine, competition on." And then I repurposed some stuff and came. And I was like, you know what this outfit needs? A top hat. My wife was like, here you go.
Wow.
Just magically
The
appeared
cosplay
out
closet.
of the
You really looked
cosplay
good.
closet.
I'm surprised you had that at your disposal.
You know, there was one funny moment as we were going through a store. I think we were in the calligraphy store. A African American woman came up to me and she's like, "You look great." And I kind of like laugh it off. It was like, I always feel a little uncomfortable receiving any sort of compliment.
Yes.
And then she said the nicest thing to me. She's like, there are not many brown people at the Dickens Fair dressed up nicely.
Whoa.
And I was like, I don't know what to do with myself with this. And I laughed and I walked away.
You didn't say thank you.
I kind of was like, no, I did say thank you, but I was like, I didn't know what to do with that compliment.
Was it an evil laugh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. But what was your experience like taking a trip back to the 1860s for your first time?
It was delightful. It was quite a lot. I'm not sure I expected it to be quite so large and quite so well decorated.
Immersive.
Yeah. It was, and there were a lot of people in costume like yourself, and it was a little bit speakeasy.
Let's paint that word picture, because the venue it's at this place called the Cow Palace, but which is a large like ice skating rink. They do like big events there. They have an ice skating rink. They do like Disney on Ice type things there. But the place where it was at, it was like the basement of it, right? Like the
Well, there's these hangars out front.
Right.
It's not underground, but
it wasn't in the main building, but like square footage wise, we're talking. It's pretty massive, like thousands of square feet, tens of thousands of square feet, and it is really decked out to look like a representation of London. There are storefronts, there are households,
mid 19th century.
There's like a cafeteria. There's there's stages everywhere. There's the Victoria and Albert Music Hall is presented as a stage.
It was like cell phones and wristwatches were out of place. It was almost like you really wanted to immerse yourself in that era, and all of the prices were modern. But people did their best to use the vernacular of the time.
Yeah, and the speakeasy aspect is that it was tough to distinguish who was there that was in a cast member, in character, performing, and who was there sometimes just as attendee, just wanted to dress up, because there are people wandering around. There are like paper boys running around with newspapers. There are telegraphs being written out. The Scrooge was running around.
We had
Father Christmas.
My favorite character is there's a kind of a docks area where it's more of like a working class type. And there's one guy that's been there every year that I go that all he does is stand on a barrel and just kind of sneer at you.
Yeah.
I like that guy so much.
Is he a performer? Or is
he's
he
a performer. I hope he's a performer.
Because you can get a season pass and go every day.
It's a bit much for me.
They just run out on the weekends.
It does seem like the audience that comes to this, the paying general public, is almost secondary. They are gonna do this anyways. The guy that plays Charles Dickens plays him every year. The guy that is Scrooge is a Scrooge every year.
We waited in line for an afternoon reading of A Christmas Carol by Mr. Charles Dickens himself in his home, in his study.
Yeah.
We sat and on this piano chair.
That's
and
not
he
a
read.
large room.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was great. He was really into it.
He couldn't read the whole thing.
It was split between multiple days. So you jump forward. It was the part we had gotten to was Ghost of Christmas Past.
That's cool.
Or Future.
Jeremy and his family had a wonderful tea service.
Yep, there was tea service with sandwiches, crumpets, scones were had by all.
Yeah, wonderful. I don't know if they do this around the country, but puppet shows and like it really gets you in the spirit of the holidays.
Puppet shows.
Some of my favorite parts.
I told my son, look at that puppet show. That is the iPad of the 1800s.
Like no one got a good view.
Kids couldn't get enough of this stuff.
And you had to be up front to actually see it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just like getting glimpses of, I think there's a story going on over there. Yeah. Very delightful. Highly recommended. All right, let's get to pop culture.
Oh, right. You want some music. Nope.
So speaking of Star Wars, I stumbled across something that was pretty exceptional this week, which was a school in Florida, like an art and visual effects school in Florida, got a hold of some of those original, like Ralph McQuarrie sketches from 1975 that inspired Star Wars. And I think a lot of us have seen that original, like C-3PO next to what looks like an R2.
Yeah, very much like Metropolis. What's her name? The robot from Metropolis.
Exactly. And what they did is they cut a trailer, a concept trailer, based on that artwork. And it's definitely rough around the edges, but it's really fun in imagining if his version, if Ralph's initial sketches were turned into the trailer. You have to skip ahead to about like the 2 or 3 minute
So it's
mark.
a CG school.
It's a CG school. So everything's CG and it's a bit rough. But, you know, in the original sketches, Han Solo's an alien and stormtroopers had lightsabers. And so it's definitely a little bit different. I thought it was one of the best sort of visualizations of some of that original artwork that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's great.
Deeply enjoyable.
Wow. So they didn't just take the artwork and
they modeled.
photograph it.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
But because there's a book out right now, The Art of Ralph McQuarrie, for Star Wars art, and it was released last year. A friend from Prop Store, Brandon Ellinger, worked on it, and there's a lot of great sketches and art. So they were able to use that reference and create some CG and take those, you know, these matte paintings, essentially, or concept art paintings, not matte paintings, that you can find online, but like animate them, and super cool. Yeah, well worth watching if you're in a Star Wars mood, which I don't know why anyone would be this week.
I don't know. I watched the holiday special. That kicked me out of the Star Wars mood a little bit.
You're making a funny joke.
No, I did actually. A friend of mine had a Star Wars holiday special party.
Really?
Has one annually every year.
Oh my God.
Is it me, or does it feel like this year there have been a ton of good movies? Like way more than past years. Like we're going to look back 20 years from now, if we're all still around, and say, wow, 2017 was a good year for movies.
That seems like a bit much to put on 2037, but I agree that I have seen a lot of good movies this year, and I'm wondering, is it because we are getting more selective and using like filtering to avoid bad movies? I've only seen one bad movie this year.
Tons. I mean, like just out right now, you have, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes scores, if you trust that stuff, you have Lady Bird, 3 Billboards, Disaster Artist, all into 90%. Paul Thomas Anderson has a new movie out. And of course, we're in award season. And one of the big awards, the first big awards, is the Golden Globe. So we also had the nominations for those films come out. And like every year, it's a little bit controversial. I think this year especially because there are so many good films. Let's run through the list of what the Golden Globe nominations were, at least for like Best Picture. So unlike the Oscars, it's not like 10 Best Pictures. They split into 2 categories, one for dramatic film and one for, it's a really weird category, comedy/musical. Like last year, The Martian was put in comedy/musical.
It's one of the best musicals I saw last year.
Yep. So we have for drama, you have Call Me by Your Name, which is the Armie Hammer movie, by all accounts, fantastic. Dunkirk is there, which I forgot that came out this year, but I loved it.
I didn't see it. You
That
think
was
it's
a
well
movie.
worth visiting?
That was Spielberg, right?
No, Christopher Nolan.
No.
Oh, right. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
Chris Nolan, and it was a film definitely made to watch in IMAX. For sure. They put IMAX cameras on World War II planes, essentially. And so I think it deserves to be there. There was a Spielberg film coming out, not Ready Player One, The Post.
Yeah.
It kind of came out of nowhere. This is about the Washington Post, and this is like a
Spotlight type thing?
Spotlight type. Yep.
That was nominated?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
It's not even out yet.
The Shape of Water.
Oh,
which
I'm excited
Guillermo
to
del
see
Toro,
that.
I'm glad that's nominated.
I've heard that it's his best movie, which is a really high bar.
I think it's in the vein of Pan's Labyrinth. It's more of a story, a fairy tale.
I hope it's more uplifting. Pan's Labyrinth is
I'm
hard to rewatch.
I'm happy for Shape of Water to be depressing and moody and broody because I like his films when they're that way.
I thought it would, from the trailer, I thought it was going to be a rom-com.
No way.
Yeah,
No.
if Guillermo del Toro did a rom-com.
Weird.
I haven't seen any of these Best Pictures.
And then Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is, I forget the director's name. He did it in Bruges, Seven Psychopaths.
That's a good movie. In Bruges is great.
And this is, from all accounts, also a fantastic film. Francis McDormand, Sam, what's his name, from Moon. And also
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson. But in this best musical or comedy category, you have some controversial picks for multiple reasons. First of all, Get Out is nominated in this category. I think Get Out should be nominated as one of the best pictures of the year, but
Get Out is the best movie I saw this year.
It's
so far.
Clearly a drama. It's not a musical or comedy, but this is the weird pick. The Greatest Showman is in here. It feels like because they just needed a musical.
Which one is that movie?
That's Hugh Jackman playing P.T. Barnum.
Oh,
I have no interest in
that was
watching
a
at
musical?
all. It's a musical.
How about that?
Yeah. I, Tonya. Now, I feel like the black comedy, this I have heard very good things about this film. This is the Tonya Harding fake mockumentary biopic.
This is Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding, who I think the character is supposed to be redeemed in this film. In dark movie. Lady Bird, which I haven't seen yet, but musical or comedy? Is it?
It's supposed to be a comedy because it's about her and her mother and their relationship. So I can see it. Dark comedy kind of.
And then Disaster Artist, I think, fits in that category as well as a somewhat of a comedy.
So there are a few movies missing too.
Yes,
Big Sick would probably be on my list.
Absolutely, perfectly fit for musical/comedy. It's a comedy, one of the best films of the year, I think. But yeah, it's. And then I think a lot of the snubs come in the other categories, the acting categories, as well as the directors categories. Greta Gerwig is not nominated. Neither was Jordan Peele from Get Out. So controversial. I look at this list and it reminds me of all the movies I need to watch before the end of the year.
There's a lot of good stuff coming out. And because the Golden Globes is more than just films, there's TV shows. I was most happy to see The Good Place nominated. That is the best show on television that I've seen this year.
Wow.
It is my favorite TV show.
How closely do the Oscar nominees usually mirror the Golden Globes?
I think it usually telegraphs, like the ones that are nominated here are likely shoe-ins as nominations for their respective categories. They're very closely aligned.
The Oscars have more nominations too. More nominees.
For Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yes, but they only have the one Best Picture category.
There's one disappointing category to me, which is the animated category this year.
Oh, yeah.
So Boss Baby, which I've seen, is very much...
Which you had to see?
Well, my kid watched it.
Exactly.
And,
so you were... Yeah.
And it is the definition of an okay movie.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Ferdinand, which looks terrible. That's John Cena as a bull that doesn't want to be a bullfighter.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Did Pixar only have one film this year? I only see Coco on the list.
Yeah, what was the other one?
I mean, I guess Finding Dory was last year.
That was last year.
Yeah, last summer.
Cars 3 was this year, maybe?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, well,
No.
not nominated.
That was not worthy of being
I think
nominated.
Coco's probably the shoe-in that category.
I haven't seen The Breadwinner, but
I saw Coco. I'm okay on Coco. I feel like it fits right in the middle of the Pixar pantheon. It's not
God,
not
I
the
just
best.
cried my eyes out in
Not
that
the
movie. I
worst.
thought it was beautiful.
Yeah. The crying came later than I
Stuck
expected.
the landing. I think
It did. It
stuck
stuck
the
the
landing,
landing.
which is
You're right.
the important. I think the lasting memory you have of the film.
Yeah.
After the journey of the film is the landing, and if it sticks in the landing, you get a lot of points for that.
I think it's hard to argue with how visually spectacular those scenes were at the bridge and entering the city.
It's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
The whole film looks like a dark ride from Disneyland.
Oh. Do you echo my sentiments that visually reminding me of Ratatouille?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
I think in terms of luminescence.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I mean, I
seeing
think
a
of
cityscape.
I think of luminescence in Bug's Life more than Ratatouille. The underground stuff where they had the bioluminescence, and also a little bit in Finding Nemo. But I don't know. No, I mean, it was definitely a beautiful film, and no doubt every one of their films keeps up in the technical ante about what's possible.
Yeah. We see the first screenshot of it's two screenshots actually right now of The Incredibles. One of which, like, people are pointing out that Mr. Incredible is wearing a sweater, and you can see the individual strands on the sweater.
There's the
pilling.
There's a teaser for that in front of Coco.
Yes,
I hadn't seen it. I loved it.
Speaking of Jordan Peele, he signed up for a new TV show, a trend that I'm very big fan of. Anthology series, it's The Twilight Zone. So CBS All Access getting another flagship show. It's making it work.
That's what I was actually most excited about, is that CBS All Access is actually investing in more than just Star Trek and Big Bang Theory reruns. Twilight Zone, though, Black Mirror was a hot commodity these last couple years.
Well, there's also the Philip K. Dick anthology series.
That's right, I forgot about that.
So science fiction anthology series are hot commodities right now. I'm so curious to see what he's going to do. I mean, Get Out is basically a perfect execution of a Twilight Zone story in a film.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm so excited to see Jordan Peele do this. Plus, you know the name of his production company?
No.
Monkey Paw Productions. Good Simpsons reference.
Well, there you go. Nice. Other pop culture news, a friend of the site, John Scalzi, just announced that his book series, Old Man's War, has now been optioned by Netflix to be turned into a movie.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, is a movie the right venue for right medium for Old Man's War? Because I would have thought, if an HBO or Netflix picked it up, it would be a series.
What's less expensive?
Movie. At this point, if you're talking about a big budget Netflix original, it's a movie.
Yeah, that seems good to me.
Yeah, but there's a lot of story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if Netflix have bought the rights,
they don't have to tell the whole story.
Or they could do the movie, see how that performs, and then they could also make it a series. Which is that's the great thing in the Netflix model.
Yeah,
they can just do any format they want.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of sci-fi, you know what we forgot about comes out next week is Bright.
I am
Netflix.
excited for that. This is their first big budget original. David Ayers, Will Smith, Joe Edgerton.
Oh, is this on Netflix?
It is a Netflix. It is a movie that otherwise would have been put on the big screen, but day and date, you just get to turn on Netflix and you'll get to watch it 4K HDR.
What do you mean day
at
and
home?
date? It's also on the big screen?
I don't know if they're. I mean, I'm saying when the release date. On the release date, as opposed to saying, "Oh, let's go to the movie theater and spend $10 on a ticket, $13 on a ticket." Just flip on Netflix and you get this big budget film at home.
That's crazy.
And I'm excited for it.
Is it sci-fi?
Sci-fi.
Dude,
you want to know the premise?
The blue guy.
The blue guy?
There's a blue guy in the poster behind Will Smith.
Yeah, there's aliens.
So it's a lot of people will say it's like the Shadowrun film. The video game Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Or the board game.
the
pitch is it's training day. So cop buddy thriller in a world where humans live alongside orcs and fairies. Jeremy's laughing. So Will Smith, cop, has a new partner who's an orc. Orcs are second-class citizens, and they get embroiled in an underworld scheme where an object is found in the parts of the mythical world. A magic wand is found.
This is incredible.
No,
and
it sounds
they have
great.
to keep the magic wand away from the mobsters, and it's it sounds like a lighthearted thing. This is in the tone of a dark Training Day-esque
I think
police
it'll be
thriller.
District 9-esque too is what I get. Undertones of that, there's segregation and all this kind of
some social commentary for sure.
Yeah.
Are they bothering with an MPAA rating? I wonder.
Good question.
They don't have to.
They don't have absolutely.
Well, doesn't Netflix always have the TV MA ratings?
Oh, I suppose they do those. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Director of Suicide Squad.
It'll become a holiday tradition. Watch Bright.
$90 million budget.
Yeah. That's a big budget film. Yeah. And the only way they can recoup the costs is with subscriptions. Are you gonna get 90 million? I guess what is it? 9 million additional subscriptions.
I don't think they're going to get many additional subscriptions, but it's great original content. Right?
Netflix isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch the new Ready Player One trailer?
You know what? I did. Can we talk about this?
I did.
I wasn't. It made me less excited about the film.
I agree.
Me too.
We're all in agreement here.
I have a weird nitpick with it. You know what I think they got wrong the most?
I don't think it's about them getting anything wrong, but sorry. What do you think they got wrong?
I think what they got wrong for a trailer, what they got wrong is the music was so much less interesting
than Rush
than the first time around. No, it was much better timed to the action in the first trailer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one it felt just way off.
I think maybe this is not necessarily a story that needed to be put on the big screen, and I'm being more convinced of that as I see more of the film.
What does that mean?
I think the visuals are so loud
Mm-hmm.
and so dense that it gets in the way of a story where if I'm reading the book, it's all in my head.
Well, that's dangerous because this is a trailer. So they're going to put the dense stuff in there. Plus, they're putting that in for the fans. Like, there's a lot of...
They're putting it to sell the movie because for people who don't know about
I don't know.
the book.
You're right. There's a lot of dense stuff, but I think the dense stuff in this trailer is particularly there so people can frame by frame and pick out all the Easter eggs.
What I will say is, like, there was a passage from Ready Player One that was shared recently that I hadn't read the book in a while now, and it was like when he's talking about decking out his DeLorean.
Yeah.
And reading that passage over, I'm like, oh, this I don't like this. This is too much, and I'm glad they won't have to have that kind of oversaturation narrated in the film because they'll just show it. You'll just see the DeLorean with the stickers, with the license plate,
Right.
with that, and that will say it all, as opposed to being labored over.
Yeah,
it is in the book.
If they acknowledge the Battletoad that we all saw in this trailer in any way, shape, or form in the film, it'll be
More than one Battletoad.
I know.
And Tracer.
People were
From,
blown away from
Overwatch.
Overwatch. The Overwatch version. I think
amazing.
Ernie Klein was saying that by getting Spielberg, it made it so easy for other IP, other people who own IP to want to get involved because they sought out involvement.
For me, that's an interesting story I'd love to hear. I mean, I want to know... They can't possibly afford to pay all these licensors.
They didn't.
So
they don't.
But
Blizzard.
but back in the day, they would have. I mean, so this is like a brand new generation of you want to be in this film.
It's the handshake.
Everybody come on board.
It's lawyers make handshakes and they say, Spielberg, you want to be in a Spielberg film? It's about pop culture relevance.
Yeah.
You want to be. It's not music licensing. That's different, right? Music is like, it's not. If you're gonna use music, you're gonna pay for the music. But if it's like Wreck-It Ralph. The Mario characters in Wreck-It Ralph, Bowser and Wreck-It Ralph, the Street Fighter. I don't believe
Pac-Man
money
Hubert.
was exchanged there. Now, if the rights holders don't want to be involved, the producers can always say, fine, then you won't be involved, and then you won't be part. I don't think.
Yeah, but like...
And they probably have limits on how much they can be shown.
Exactly. They're cameos.
They want as much control as they want. All those licensors want final approval of how their stuff is used.
How their characters used. It's
But
like
imagine the logistics of allowing them to have that control.
I think it's whatever
You have to
visual
trust us.
effects department. Exactly.
Trust Spielberg.
For Tracer, let's say, for Overwatch, right?
Blizzard is notoriously controlling.
But here's a reference. Here's a secure Dropbox file with art and a model, and the visual effects artists working on Ready Player One have to do all the modeling anyway.
Yeah.
Then now they have some reference to start off with.
Yeah.
Great. It's not like they're going to import the model, and because it doesn't work, it's not like a game engine model. They'll do it on the workflow that they've already set out, and they'll be as true as they can. It's not like these characters have dialogue.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. If they had dialogue, it becomes real problematic real fast.
My problem with the trailer was that it just reveals so much more that is different from the book. And it's like I'm going to have to go in there and maybe it's a good thing to be prepared for that. But just be prepared that it's going to be a new telling of something that's generally the same story.
Did you really need it to be exactly the same as the
There
book,
were certain
though?
things I liked. I liked that Artemis and Wade didn't meet until the very end of the film or the book.
Yeah.
And clearly they're like together throughout at least half the
I'm
film.
going to trust Spielberg as a storyteller more than I trust Ernie Klein as a storyteller.
We'll see. You know what oddly concerns me, and I maybe I'm overthinking this, is that it's coming out in March. There's very few good films that come
out to die in March.
Yeah, exactly. So
Ouch.
I'm a little worried about that. What that says. Do you see the poster by any chance?
Oh God, let's talk about this.
The leg.
Yeah. So they released a poster which has. The other thing I didn't like about the trailer is they make it the Easter egg is like a physical egg, right? Like they have to make it like an actual tangible representation. It's in the trailer. Wade is climbing up the stacks where the trailer park where he lives, like it is in the book cover, and in the background is this glowing literal manifestation of an Easter egg. But what people are harping over is his leg, his right leg, left leg. Right leg, I want to say, is like 2 feet too long.
Yeah.
How did that get past approval?
What I love is that on Reddit somebody was like, "Stop body shaming," and they photoshopped the actor to have like super long legs.
It was just a bad Photoshop job.
Yeah,
We're design shaming.
they're missing opportunities to hide Easter egg mini games, ARGs in the promo material.
Well, they have a partnership with Vive to do some type of VR.
Okay, well,
I mean, all that stuff's gonna get closer to March.
All right, well, we're 3 months out, and they're releasing materials. It's certainly something they could do to drum up some interest. I wish them the best. Ernie Klein did not write this book expecting it to be made by Spielberg and become a phenomenon.
Totally,
it's just something he thought was cool.
Yeah, be happy that it's gonna come out at all if you're a fan of the book. Speaking of being excited for things, another trailer launched for something we're all looking forward to: Jessica Jones Season 2. This is a short teaser for the Netflix show, and a little bit of shade thrown at the Spider-Man world.
Good for her. That's her thing. I think she's the only one that came out of the Defenders looking any better than when she went into it.
Oh, in terms Daredevil's of no good?
I think Daredevil was a little melodramatic in that in that season, and then Iron Fist no one likes for good reason. And Luke Cage, I think, treaded water. At least Jessica Jones was a little bit snarky in that. I love the little snark against Spider-Man. It feels right on base. We don't learn much from this trailer at all. No sign of villains, just that she's back on the investigator hunt for something. I thought season 1 of Jessica Jones might hold up to be the best of all of those Netflix Marvel series so far. No. It's just so hard to rewatch that because it's brutal to watch the abuse that David Tennant heaps upon her.
And then finally, we have an announcement of a new Netflix show. She-Ra is coming back. We are excited.
You're excited about She-Ra. She-Ra was awful back in the day.
I'm excited for what Netflix can do. It's a part of the DreamWorks deal, the people who are doing Troll Hunters. So that gives me a lot of excitement for that. I like this relationship Netflix has built out with DreamWorks. So
for those that are going to at me, He-Man was also terrible back in the day. These shows were bad.
How old were you?
I was
8.
8, yeah.
You
8
were,
or 9.
And you went home from school and you watched...
Oh, I watched them.
She-Ra.
Well, She-Ra came on after He-Man.
Yeah.
Where I was. And so I'd naturally bleed into it. But, like, her backup characters are terrible. She-Ra herself was fine.
Did she have a cringer?
Didn't she have a horse?
Is that
like a Pegasus-type horse?
No.
My hope is that this means it's going to pave the way for a Thundercats reboot.
Thundercats. That was your jam back when you were Kim?
That was my jam.
You know, they already hit Voltron. That was mine. So
Voltron was great.
Thank you.
Man, Mumra getting some good treatment. I can see that.
You know what a cartoon that was only around for 2 years, I think, 2 seasons, that was great? It's Pole Position.
No,
I'm
there
not
was
kidding.
not a cartoon
there
about
was.
Pole Position.
It had nothing to do with a video game except there were cars. But the cars, there were 2 of them. Their brother and sister investigative team, and their cars had computers in them, like CRT monitors with faces on them, and they were like Kit. Wow. They could talk, and they were AIs, and it was great.
Thundercats, Silverhawks.
Silverhawks is on my list. There's one cartoon I can't remember that was like a Western in space.
Cowboy Bebop?
No, it was, but it was in this time frame.
Great space.
And it was like robots and like Western type characters.
Wow.
Somebody tell me what that cartoon was. I think it was only on for a season, but it was really good.
Okay, Transformers. Could they bring that back? Like
Transformers has been rebooted like 8 times.
No. Bring back the OG. Bring back the first generation Transformers. Much like they did with Voltron.
Where you just like pour stuff and it fills up Energon cubes?
Yeah.
Just pour random blue goo.
Because that cartoon was no good. Like, I loved it, but you watch it now and it's horrible.
It's horrible.
I would love to see them rethink that.
I think it's the right thing.
I think G.I. Joe is the one that could be done a lot better.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Totally. 2 more quick bits. One, did you guys watch the trailer for the surprise trailer, Robert Rodriguez's next film? Jim Cameron had been long working on this film, Battle Angel Alita. I guess it's called Battle Angel Alita. This is a manga that about a robot who gets discovered in a junkyard in the dystopian future and gets turned into a warrior for the future. And Jim Cameron had wanted to make this film forever, and because now he's deep in production for the Avatar sequels, however many there are, Robert Rodriguez has picked up, and it's coming out next year. Now, the trailer is controversial for a couple of reasons. There's some casting. Same with Ghost in the Shell, right? They got a non-Asian actress to play the character, but mostly because of the representation of the character, they decided to give her massive CGIs.
Okay.
Like, Google it, Battle Angel. They literally took the look of a manga character, like an anime character, and superimposed it on a human face, and it's incredibly distracting.
Okay.
And it just looks weird.
All right.
So I was a fan of the manga. I'll watch the film, but I'm not a fan of this direction they're going in necessarily. You can watch the trailer. And then one last bit as we move into technology news. I would consider this pop culture. You guys still playing HQ Trivia?
Yeah, as often as I can.
I have Android, so no.
So you're playing the imitation, just Q Trivia.
No.
Yeah.
Not doing it. I think it comes out on Android on Christmas Day.
Oh.
I found out you can swipe the chat away. This is the greatest thing.
Going back to pre-pop culture, after Dickens Fair, I stopped by Will's house to pick up our dog because we'd left our dog with Will for the whole day.
Yeah.
And we timed it so that when we got to Will's house, it was time for HQ Trivia.
Yeah.
So that we could all play and share knowledge together. This was the big $10,000 game they had on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And none of us made it through. It was fun thing to do as a group. And then I went over to Gary's house to pick up an Xbox One X from him. And as he opened the door,
special
he's like,
bonus game.
There's another game going on. So we hung out there and played another game of HQ Trivia. And I think it is still the weirdest Black Mirror thing ever. Like, he says, when you drive down on a freeway at 6 p.m., you can see the purple screens on people's phones.
Yeah. I understand people are pulling over on the side of the street.
Crazy.
I don't understand this phenomena. I
Just
haven't played
on
it.
Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, one of us. 2 days ago, there was a game. Was it a $1,000 game? Yeah, $1,500 game. 3 people won. 3 people. When it came down to the final question, I think it was like 11 people. Like 150,000 people were still watching. Only 11 people were playing with no connection to each other. That was a weird, surreal experience. To root for for one person to win.
They have a connection.
Still don't get it.
Age cuties.
I guess they're the age cuties. Well, we'll try to. If you are out there and not playing, use the code NormChan.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, whatever.
Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Use Jareware.
All right, some controversy in the Patreon world that as of today has been reversed, but Patreon changed their pricing model.
It?
They did. They issued an apology. They messed up. But we know a lot of people out there. We have a lot of friends who run Patreons.
I was sitting in the movie behind Patrick Norton, and he was explaining this has been a real problem for them.
Yeah. So what it had done, it's changed the fee structure for what how Patreon takes their cut. As opposed to a percentage cut, it was now a rate plus percentage. It's almost like credit card fees, right? And Patreon has now there's a huge backlash.
Well, he was explaining that Patreon switched from charging the producers the fee to charging the backers the fee.
So
that's
it's like
the primary thing,
right?
And then there's a lot of math, and I read the math detailed explanation of it, and there's things that are still a little weird about it, but their sense is that fees are variable for them. So to create consistency, they are going to essentially pass fees on to pledgers instead of the patrons, with this mix of a per transaction fee,
right,
and then a percentage.
Which the per transaction, for if you're doing like a $2 low amount, which a lot of people are doing small tips,
regular,
that's going to affect you.
Yeah, so like $1 pledge is all of a sudden $1.40, and then it's not sort of across all of your pledges. So if you pledge $1 to 10 different people, you're still sort of getting this. You don't get like a lump basis for that.
So this caused a lot of people to pull out of their Patreon patronage.
Mostly people that were, as far as I can tell, at those low pledge amounts.
Yeah.
And that had numbers drop. Even, I have a Patreon for my science podcast. We lost a few people as well. And it's mostly because, like, I think the pledgers, I don't think it's a huge burden going from $1 to $1.40. They just don't like the idea of it. That's not why
40% is going to Patreon.
Yeah, I don't think they like the concept of it because they want to see as much money as possible go to the creator for the content.
Yep.
So what happened? They completely reversed it. We're back to a week ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And apologize.
And there's problems with how it is now, especially for like recurring patrons that are accessing content. Like you can get sort of double charged if you join late in a month and then get charged again at the first of the month. So it's not perfect. I think the backlash was stronger than what I saw their reasoning behind doing this was.
Some Apple news, couple bits of Apple news, some back-end business news. They have bought Shazam. Shazam, did that company really have any place to go?
Other than acquisition?
Yeah.
I'm surprised Shazam was still around.
I'm surprised.
To be honest.
Oh, in what way? That it hadn't been acquired yet?
Well, because it was one of those early apps,
It
right?
was, yeah.
And it was novel, and it did its job. It works well, but like Google had its own version of it that they built into Google Search to recognize music. And then Shazam did some smart business deals to tie into like commercials, for example, because it's wherever people feel like they need to know where a jingle came from, they could Shazam it. But that technology had been built into Siri, and now Apple, I think there were several interested parties bidding on it, but Apple came out on top. And what do you think they're going to do with it?
And integrate it further. Dude, I mean, as far as the iPhone goes, I don't even know that Google Music or Google Voice did that. I didn't know that had that capability.
No, Google Voice, it would, if you press the microphone button and it was a song, it would automatically switch to music recognition. You wouldn't have to say, start listening, listen to music.
Any media. So it can listen to TV too, and it would bring up additional content.
Tell you what you were watching. That's cool. I mean, that has always been one of the apps that I thought was blow away magic technology. Using Shazam, or I think there were even precursors to Shazam that did the same thing. But it's incredible that it can, thumbprint a piece of music in 5 seconds.
So the technology is a database, an algorithm in a database, right? It's matching the waveforms and their database of content.
Yeah.
And do you think it has implications in AR, for example? Like if there is a way for, if you're going to be wearing glasses in the future and you're going to have visual information, right? The world scanning is both visual and also auditory. So maybe it goes beyond music. It can be contextually aware for everything that's happening in the world. So hopefully they're buying it as a way not just to do music recognition, song recognition, and TV recognition, but a way to be more a way for the world scanning to be audio and video.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting idea. I'm not sure what the implications are. Are you thinking of an always on kind of thing, where it's just like always
passively,
aware,
always
sort of like an audio GPS?
Yeah.
Apple doesn't have hardware to do that now. I guess Apple TV has Siri enabled.
Oh, like an always-on thing? Yeah.
Other Apple investment news, they are spending $390 million investing in a company that's making the Face ID laser sensor. So laser means, IR sensor, IR blaster that's on the front of the iPhone 10. Not a surprise to me because like their future AR ambitions will require some type of world scanning, and this is a U.S.-based company. So
why are they acquiring it, though?
They're not acquiring it. They're just putting money into it.
Oh, and to speed up manufacturing or something?
Yeah. Because I think the rumor is that they want to put these sensors on the back of phones on the world-facing part of the camera next year, which makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. New Apple products. This was something that was announced this summer, and it's finally coming out in a day.
Oh my goodness!
If you have $5,000, you could buy an iMac Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this the super high end prototype? No, this is not that.
Well, this is the new high-end iMac.
But this is not the experimental
next year.
Like next year, which was that's also iMac?
No, that's regular Mac Pro.
That was a Mac Pro that was super redesigned.
Yeah.
So this is the iMac Pro.
It looks like an iMac except it's dark.
It's dark gray, which apparently a lot of people like. They sent a bunch to reviewers and to social media influencers and photographers, people who create video. And
we're social media influencers.
I'm sorry, no cake for us.
You know, it comes with a black or a space gray lightning cable.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, first one I've ever seen.
What do you get for $5,000?
Yeah,
you get I think you get an 8-core processor.
18 core.
Oh wait,
well,
no.
18?
18 is the max out.
You pay more for that.
Way more. Up to, I bet the 18 core is probably what they sent to reviewers, though.
I don't think so. I don't think it's out till next year.
Oh, that's not. Oh, okay. So they said the best you could get right now,
probably.
Which is like
that's the experimental one. Oh, good.
You can get like up to 128 gigs of RAM, which is like that's not cheap right now. If anything, RAM is extremely expensive. DDR4 RAM, 4 terabytes of storage, but they're talking. People who've used it are saying about 200-300% speed improvements across the board.
Don't forget that 5K screen.
And you get a 5K. It's the same 5K screen, though, right?
Yeah,
it's the same 5K screen,
but it's good.
Right? No, it's a great screen.
Not cheap.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably not. People think of Apple as being, having overpriced hardware. I don't think this is necessarily overpriced. The problem is you can't upgrade it at all.
No RAM, no storage, nothing.
Not even RAM. I mean, there's no way to get in this device unless you follow the iFixit guide.
Yep. Yeah. The entry level at $5,000. It's 8-core, 1 terabyte storage, and a meager 32 gigabytes of RAM.
That's terrible for $5,000.
Yeah. No, non-upgradable. If you want more RAM, you got to pay for the upcharge now. If you want 128 gigs.
I don't know. It's weird.
So, but if you edit 4K video, if you edit 5K video,
if you edit video, you're waiting till the Mac Pro comes
you're making for the new one.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who this is for. This is for YouTubers
who have $5,000 to spend on an entry level Mac.
Yeah. I'm talking about YouTubers, like the real ones, the influencers.
Yeah. Well, they got those for free. They didn't have to pay for theirs. Yeah. One last bit of Apple just discussion. There's an interesting. I'm loving this app. This raw camera app, Halid.
Oh yeah.
And
it's Halid. It's not Halide.
I don't know. I actually don't know how it's pronounced.
So it shoots raw. Is what you mean by that?
It shoots raw. It saves raw photos, and their UI actually I like a lot. But they had a blog post talking about how they designed their UI.
Is it iPhone 10 exclusive?
I don't know,
because they make a big deal out of having been designed for the iPhone 10.
But they did a blog post about how they designed for the iPhone 10 without any knowledge of what the iPhone 10 would be like, except with the assumptions that it would be a full screen phone, and designing where the UI is most reachable. I'll show you a photo I took yesterday, in basically pitch blackness.
Sick.
Yeah. At the Castro Theater.
Oh my God! That's the organist at the bottom.
The organist at the Castro Theater.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, you got to tweet that one so our friends can see it.
I did. I tweeted it yesterday. You can check that out. But it's well worth the read. The thing I love most about how they promoted this app on the day the iPhone launched or soon after is they Cinema 4D'd a fake iPhone 10 and superimposed a screen image on it. And then faked a background, so they made it look like they were taking a picture on an iPhone 10 with their app. When that was that whole promo photo, was completely just basically CG'd.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did they really use Cinema 4D?
Yeah. If you look,
that's what they said they used?
Yeah, I'll show you. It's the last picture on this blog post. If it's gonna load.
That's what Sean Charlesworth uses for all his 3D modeling.
Oh yeah. Cinema 4D and a lot of Photoshop compositing.
There you go.
All right, moving on. Oh, San Francisco. First of all, tip of the hat and a shout out to our dearly departed mayor, Ed Lee.
Wow.
Who unexpectedly passed away yesterday morning. Controversial or not, as a mayor,
he was
super sad.
I met him a handful of times. He's a really sweet person in person, regardless of policies. And that tree lighting that
Will was at.
That Will was at. I was also there with my child, and we ran into Ed Lee there.
Oh,
and that was just last Thursday. So it's totally sad to see a to see him pass on.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that his policies were controversial was because we in San Francisco we've had, as everyone knows, an influx of technology companies, and there's definitely been some strife between locals and the new influx of residents and workers in the tech business, and also a growing homelessness problem. And I think one recent incident that maybe encapsulates just how absurd this situation has gotten is outside the SPCA, our local SPCA, which is not too far away from here in the Mission District in San Francisco.
That's the animal shelter?
Animal shelter and animal rescue, a fine organization. Joey has volunteered there. But they have started using a robot to patrol their streets. And the robot...
Does it look like RoboCop?
No, it looks like TARDIS. Not TARDIS, sorry. It looks like a...
Really?
Like a Dalek.
A Dalek.
A Dalek, right.
It looks like a Dalek.
Yeah.
And with like images of dogs on them. And the robot apparently has been going up against homeless people.
What does that mean, going up against?
Like it's been harassed by homeless people. And people have thrown things at it, put tarps over it, try to smudge bodily fluids over its cameras. But the whole point was that this robot was supposed to patrol the area, the sidewalks around the SPCA, so that the employees could walk the animals and walk in and out. To a point where...
Well, what does it do?
It alerts the authorities when it senses the building of encampments.
Homeless encampments on the sidewalk.
When it senses them.
Yeah, with radar and IR. This is so dumb.
Like, who at the SPCA thought this was a great idea?
Beyond how this lacks empathy in every single way imaginable.
Well, it's not. I mean, yes. But just last week, I did see, a story about police officers helping when they did have to move homeless encampments. They helped them fold their tents. It was a kind thing. It was not like tickets were handed out. So I mean, there's backlash against the SPCA. By the city. The city is going to fine the SPCA $1,000 a day for operating its robot without a permit on the streets. Oh,
because
wow.
it's public
you have to get a robot permit in this town?
Yep. Well, it's extension of the regulations that are being placed on delivery robots, because a lot of delivery companies are experimenting.
What delivery robots?
Well, have you not seen the mission? There are delivery robots that are walking the mission that food delivery services are experimenting with. They'll go... they have compartments with food in them, and they will walk down the sidewalk.
Have you seen a robot?
I've seen one of these.
We had one outside our office not too long ago, and for now they have human supervision.
Okay.
But the idea is that they will be autonomous.
Yeah.
And like, I fully expect once autonomous cars become normal, that these robots are also going to be a normal thing.
There's one place I can see them being used, and they are being used this way, is in parking structures. That way you can kind of patrol to make sure break-ins aren't happening, and they have the ability to photograph and do that kind of stuff.
Or malls.
Who is it that we know there's a robot at the Oakland airport? Who is it that stayed at a hotel that had a robot deliver like toothpaste to them?
UCSF has robots in the hospital that move drug carts around.
Yeah.
So there's use cases that make sense.
Yes.
What's crazy, the manufacturer of this robot, Nightscope, I think it's what it's called, is they all actually rent out robots. You don't have to purchase them.
Yes. $6 an hour, which like their justification by the SPCA is that it was cheaper than hiring a security guard at $14 an hour. That's
terrible.
Hire someone who can have empathy, and as opposed to this nameless robot, faceless robot.
Especially given the nature of your business.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. San Francisco. Peak San Francisco.
I don't think we've hit it. Every time we say peak San Francisco, something else happens to make us look foolish.
Couple bits of Android news. Android Wear gets updated to Android 8 Oreo. You have an Android Wear watch?
I do have an Android Wear watch. My watch is currently not on the list to get upgraded to Android 8 Oreo.
Are you excited? Are you? Is there anticipation for the updates? No. It's good enough right now.
No, it's bad.
Now, what about?
It's been bad, and it's not getting much better.
What about augmented reality stickers?
Oh,
are we talking? We're not talking about those actual cameras that they debuted at I/O, the ones that take photos.
This is
cameras that take photos. Yes,
no,
I heard myself.
You're talking about the device that you're supposed to mount on the wall on
Yeah.
a tree at a picnic, and it'll recognize someone having fun
Didn't
and
they
take
call
a picture.
that stickers?
No. This is an app for your Pixel or Pixel 2, and basically it's like Snapchat stickers, except they are AR, and so they will animate and interact with your scene. And they've just launched them for Stranger Things and Last Jedi.
Oh my goodness, downloading this.
Yeah, download that.
No, got to test that for us, Kishore, being our resident Pixel owner. And then Google also has 3 new photography apps that they're using to do some experimentation. One's called Storyboard, one's called Selfissimo, and one's called Scrubbies. Right. So basically, they're filters and mechanisms to take lots of pictures in a sequence and then frame them in a way that may be interesting if you're someone who likes taking action shots, selfies, or short videos.
Are you one of those people? You're kind of one of those people.
Yeah, and some of these apps are on iOS, so you can check them out as well on iOS. Are any of us here subscribers to MoviePass?
No.
No?
First of all, you couldn't even become one because it was freaking out when they announced it, and I was trying to sign up.
It's possible to sign up now.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
It just feels so shady. I don't feel like it doesn't seem right.
Like, how's it going to make money? Well, the theater gets the money. The theater still gets all the money.
But the theaters were boycotting it. Why was that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It just seems very strange.
$8 a month. You can attend the cinema unlimited times for certain films, no reserved seats, no 3D films. But MoviePass released some statistics, some data, and people are using it. And they talked about how they have potentially, one of their business models is partnering with smaller films and smaller distributors to use MoviePass as a way to promote and get people to watch those small films. So, for example, the 3 Billboards film, which is still limited release, MoviePass tickets represented 10% of that box office for that weekend. 1.8% of Justice League, its opening weekend box office when it made like $94 million, that was from MoviePass. So people are using it.
Wow,
they're using it for new films.
Numbers.
Yeah,
because I've never seen a person in the wild use it.
How would you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, at the ticket counter, they have the app out and they're using it as a wireless pay system with their
But we're not using the ticket
Amex
counter. We're all pre-buying and showing up with our ticket.
A lot of parts of the country. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm curious to see whether it can have a lasting impact and whether the business model can be sustained. But at $80 a month, it's a pretty good deal. Hottest holiday gift, still Nintendo Switch.
Okay, I believe it. It's available for purchase. Like you can find
find them in stores.
Yep.
You can find even the SNES Mini in stores now
I
these
know.
days.
I
That's
found
crazy.
it.
You got one.
I bought one.
Have you opened it?
No.
Why'd you buy one then?
Because I found one. It's like,
found one.
oh my god, it's in the wild. I should buy it.
All
I
right.
had to make a split-second decision.
So Nintendo Switch, Nintendo announced that as of now, 9 months into the release, the Switch has sold 10 million units.
That's nice.
With a high attach rate for Mario Odyssey and Zelda.
That's awesome.
There's a chart on Ars Technica showing how this 10 million units in the first 9 months compares to other devices. So the PS3, for example, had shipped at the same period, I believe, 10 million.
Same
so
thing. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yep.
And let me see. Actually, no. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
PS3 was much lower, about 6 million.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anything for comparable in 9 months, the PS4 had done over that by about 10 months. Had about almost 14 million units. So
what about
pacing it well.
Other handheld consoles?
Other handheld, or what about other Nintendo consoles?
Well,
right?
that would be them, I guess. And then there's the
Wii U,
PSP,
right? Wii U, I think in its lifetime, had done only about 14 million units.
Okay, not so handheld.
So it's going to surpass Wii U in like the next 6 months easily. They're planning on shipping. An additional 20 million units next year. They're going to get to 30 million units at the end of next year.
Going all in on the Switch.
Yeah.
Do you want the Switch sound effect?
You got it.
Got that.
Very nice.
So, did anybody watch the Game Awards?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. I followed the news that came out of it.
Yeah, me too. I just watched a little bit of it. But
So game of the year, Zelda.
well
deserved.
Like they did it right. That's all that matters. Is that game won.
What was
Game
your
of the
fear?
Year.
That what would have been the
Just that they get it
upset.
wrong. I don't know.
Mario?
I haven't played Mario, so I can't tell. I just imagine that
Wolfenstein?
Zelda's better.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein won Best Action Game,
I think well deserved.
and so I haven't played it, and it got kind of weird reviews. Like some people weren't nuts about it.
Huh.
So I'm glad to hear that it's good, and I plan to play.
Okay.
it. I do plan to play that. Cuphead won a couple of awards for art
Great.
direction. Yeah.
Yeah, Cuphead, beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, there were some beautiful games up this year.
There's some games announced too. We had an announcement for Campo Santo's next game. And it looks beautiful. It's
Is that
Egyptian.
In the Valley of Gods?
Yes.
Is that one?
Yes. Another period piece.
It's not due out till 2019. I think.
Oh,
though.
wow. Okay.
Think.
Can't wait for
their
that.
games are totally worth it.
They've
What
only made one.
Well, their game was totally worth it. I mean,
What about
that's
in the VR space?
Well, there were 5 up, right, for the awards. Not announcements, but the awards were Resident Evil 7, Super Hot VR, Star Trek Bridge Crew, and Lone Echo, Echo Arena as a single title, and Farpoint.
Well, Lone Echo.
Those
should
were
win.
the 5 nominations.
But
I
Lone
would-
Echo should win.
I would.
That's the
wait,
best
wait.
game of the
I
year.
think they should have taken out like Resident Evil, or no, take out Bridge Crew and put in like Rec Room.
Oh, that would have been cool, like some real indie thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think we certainly have given more thought to VR than whoever their panelists are. But
I think Will was on their panel.
was he?
Maybe.
Huh. Well, Resident Evil 7 won it. There you go.
What?
Which I'm kind of
Are
surprised
you
by.
kidding me?
No, I mean it's by all accounts it was a great one. But certainly my vote would have gone to Lone Echo.
Yeah.
I know
Echo Arena, especially.
you loved Super Hot VR.
I think Super Hot. I wouldn't. That's last year's game.
Yeah.
Late last year. I guess like the first year of motion controls
And
on the Oculus.
Bridge Crew. I mean, conceptually, the
Yeah.
first 20 minutes is mind blowing.
See, that's the one I would have
No.
dropped immediately. I understand Resident Evil as a game that has that made an existing really good adventure game, horror game better. But Bridge Crew, I don't think should
We
be
had more fun
nominated.
playing Rec Room than
Yeah.
Bridge Crew.
Totally. And Lone Echo should have won.
Word up.
Easily. Hands down. I think Lone Echo with Super Hot as a close second.
What was the deal with that weird game trailer that came out with the guy from Walking Dead? Did you?
Oh, this is Kojima's new game.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Norman Reedus, Guillermo del Toro's in the game, as well as Mads Mikkelsen. No one knows. Death Stranding? No one knows what it's about. It's what happens when
That was
Sony
one of
throws
the
a lot of money
weirdest
at
few
Kojima.
minutes I spent last week.
People
was
are
watching
hyped.
that
Oh,
trailer.
that was weird.
So much hype.
Yeah.
That was weird as an understatement.
No, that was really trippy. And just like horrific in some ways.
It's
yeah.
Kojima. There was also PUBG updates.
The desert.
Yes.
New map.
New map. People are freaking out. It's already out, right? You can already play it.
Yeah.
And
The test survey has been terrible.
Overwatch won Best Ongoing Game, a new category.
That's weird.
I like
Why
it.
not just like multiplayer games?
Because it doesn't. I think that they've modeled Game Awards on movie awards, and you don't have Best Ongoing Movie. Like people aren't watching the movie years later, giving it awards, but that
Right.
happens in games. So you have.
So it's not a new game this year.
right. It's something that's been kept alive with DLC, and the community is still very active.
Why can't you just rate it as like it's basically best old game that people are still playing?
Yeah, okay.
That's what you're talking about. Why can't
Yeah.
you rate it as best new content?
That's mean. That's because it's not old if they're
Well,
reinvigorating
best
it.
new content then. Rate the content. Right? It's not about the lasting power of StarCraft Brood War.
Yeah.
Like you could say that's the best old game, best ongoing game in Korea.
I don't know. That's a little unfair too.
Why
though.
not you rate the DLC
Because
or the updates?
They're adjusting character traits and adding new elements to maps. You can't just like submit the new stuff.
I don't know if that warrants a new category.
I like it.
Well, speaking of DLC, we also had surprise Breath of the Wild DLC, which dropped that night.
That was a big surprise.
Link on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid, but the fact that it was available that night,
Yeah.
that was the surprise.
Pretty cool.
And Dreams, dude, Dreams for the PS4. You know anything about this game?
No.
Do you?
No.
This is from Media Molecule, the guys who did Little Big Planet. Now, Little Big Planet, you think, platformer, cute, nice music, and it had this like mode where you could create your own levels. And people would do insane things with them. They went beyond what the tools were supposed to be able to do, and they ended up making entirely different genres, although it was really only supposed to make this one kind of platformer game. Well, Dreams is like they've realized what people wanted, which is just an infinite tool set, and they're allowing you to make anything you want. So now you can make the primitives. You model the shapes. You create the AIs, you model the characters, you rig them, you animate them, and you everything inside the PS4.
Yep.
And you can make not only your own stories, your own games, you can do your own sketches, you can do modeling. You can and then there's this for the actual game, there are 3 chapters of an actual single player game that you play through. All of it was made in Dreams. And when I say all of it, I mean all of it. The music was composed in Dreams.
Wow.
All of the character animations, the interactivity, the rules, the mechanics, it's all in game.
This seems like a ton of work.
Yeah.
To get going.
You mean a ton for the player?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they've embraced like performance, and so most of it can be done just with a gamepad, and so all of the animations and stuff is kind of marionetting. And then, if you're making moving blocks, you actually move the controller back and forth, and then you record movements, and then it replays them. And there's performance stuff for playing music on the gamepad, but if you go deeper, you can control actual, mechanics. Like there's a tracker, synthesizers for making music. There's actual like keyframe stuff for animation.
Are you going to be able to play other people's creations?
Yeah, it's all shareable, and you can
awesome.
you can team up. So if you're good at modeling, good at music, good at mechanics, good at level building, you can make entire games. So it feels to me like a game engine.
Yeah,
and
the UIs can be interesting.
Amazing. Like it could be really disruptive if it was on the PC and you could actually make games that you could sell. I wonder what the success will be like on the PlayStation. It'd be really interesting for me to watch.
Keep an eye on it. And then finally, Atari has announced pricing and pre-orders for the Atari box. Any interest?
How much? How much?
Yeah, I like the way it looks.
It looks. I think they got the look right. Absolutely.
Looks like an old school Atari box.
I don't think they have actual pricing, but we're expecting it to be around $250. Which I think is high.
That's like $100 too high.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
All you know is what it looks and what it costs.
If it's going to play retro games.
It can't just do that. It's got to do new stuff.
Are you sure? Well, it's okay. It runs Linux, so it can do mid-tier PC titles.
A $5 Raspberry Pi can run Atari games.
Yep.
This has to do more.
Yep, $250. I think a lot of it's not the wood finish, the wood-like finish. So 2018 but pre-orders today, this Thursday. So let me see if we can go on the website and see what the actual price is. While I do that, want to go into Elon's shower?
Oh yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we enter Elon's shower. It's a little steamy in here today.
Quick note: the Atari box is going to be crowdfunded to do the pre-order, and it's still not launched yet as of when we're recording this podcast.
Okay.
Oh.
So Elon is $2 million richer because, or a couple of, actually
more than that.
Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, has pre-ordered 40 of his Tesla trucks.
Oh yeah.
And then Pepsi was like, "Hold my beer, Anheuser-Busch. I'm going to order 100."
Wow.
Yeah. So 140 Tesla trucks pre-order. Now, 100 trucks sounds like a lot.
It's not.
It's not. They have a fleet of tens of thousands, 10,000 trucks, I think.
Yeah.
So this is definitely dipping their toes into it. No promised shipping, but they have all deposited $10,000 per truck as part of the pre-order, $20,000 per truck.
I know everyone freaked out about the Roadster being in the back of that truck.
Yeah.
But the legacy of that announcement is the truck. The truck is the revolutionary device.
So let me ask you a question. Is the truck include the just the cab, or is it the cab?
It's a cab.
It's just the cab.
It's just the cab.
Okay.
Well, because the
crates.
the compartments, the crates, they're sort of standardized, unless you have like refrigerated ones, and then there's some specialized ones.
I want to hear from truckers. If we have any truckers who listen to this podcast, hit me on Twitter @Jareware and tell me if you're excited about the Tesla truck.
Why would they be?
Because they're tech files, because you sit in the center the center of the cab.
But this is the
window
step to the removal of that whole industry.
The window encompasses you.
They still need to be in the cab
for now.
This is. Be that as it may, that is inevitable. Are they excited to drive this truck?
And what if their companies told them about job security in the future?
Yeah.
Really curious.
I'd be excited to drive this truck.
I mean, so you had to put $20,000 down, and then the thing will cost
about $150. They think
that's actually not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, for big companies, $2 million from Pepsi is not that big of an investment if they were thinking about the future of their company.
I just wonder, because I always think of trucks as long-range vehicles. Is like the 300-mile range enough for these trucks?
Well, they made it clear this is not for cross country. And they said, according to our research, most trucking routes are less than 100 miles, and you can go to and fro with a single charge and charge while you're unloading.
That's terrible. All right. Before we move on, I want to remind everyone that the support for today's show comes from Squarespace. If you're ready to start your new business, why wait until the new year to set your plans into action? The future is coming, so make it brighter with your own Squarespace website. They have beautiful templates created by world-class designers, and Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a new and unique website. You can showcase your work, blog, or publish content, even sell products and services of all kinds in just a few clicks. You can customize everything from the look and feel to settings and the products themselves, and it's all optimized for mobile right out of the box. You can also tap into analytics, help you grow in real time, and there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. Though if you do have a question, you can also ask Squarespace's 24/7 customer support, and they're there to help. They're also award-winning. A dream is just a great idea that doesn't have a website yet, so make it a reality with Squarespace. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code TEST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com with the offer code TEST.
Now it's time for a moment of science. Jeremy's excited for the moment of science this week.
Always.
Back in 2009 in southwestern China, there was a massive landslide that actually killed about 74 people. And it was a mystery because there was no earthquake trigger. There was no what we associate with landslides, no weather effect or anything else. And some geochemists had a different idea of what actually happened. They wondered if all of the pollution in China, the renowned pollution in China, was causing acid rain, and that acid rain actually ate away at the underlying rock, and that contributed to the landslide.
Whoa.
So they did some simple laboratory experiments and verified that, yes, this probably was a contributing factor. Moreover, they suggest, but there isn't a lot of evidence to this point yet, they suggest that what could be also happening is when those acid rain effects happen, that rain is also delivering oxygen, nitrogen, a number of other nutrients into those rock formations, and it's usually shale, and leading to a bloom of different bacterial and microorganism growth that's eating away at components of the rock, weakening it, leading to potentially more landslides. This is actually really interesting in the sense that this is a new form of climate change, in a sense. Like, our pollution is causing erosion effects in ways that we never thought before. And while it's really limited, this isn't going to, reshape, building policy and everything else. I thought it was functionally interesting that they were able to tie pollution from coal-fired power plants in China directly to landslide effects. So it was one of the coolest stories of the week. 2.
Yes.
Have you guys gotten your cholesterol test? Like when
I'm
you get a
afraid
physical?
If
you've seen Norm's eating habits after this podcast, you understand why.
Totally.
2 kinds of cholesterol. There's the good cholesterol, HDL, bad cholesterol, LDL, the low density lipoproteins. Those are all protein tests to understand these lipids that are floating around your system. The idea is when LDLs, that low density stuff, tries to be eliminated, it can accumulate in your arteries, leading to blockages. But there was a 2009 study that looked at people that were having heart attacks that came into the ER that looked at their LDL levels, and 40% of them had normal LDL levels.
Not a good indicator.
Not necessarily the best indicator. And so there's a new type of test really being posited by a number of scientists called the ApoB test, which LDL is just a direct measure of how much of that lipoprotein is in your system, but not necessarily how much of that protein is like attached to cells, like the kinds that would, as they're being eliminated, get stuck on the wall. This ApoB test is a protein test that will measure the cell accumulation of this lipoprotein. A better direct measure. And the test is cheap. It's only $20 a pop. And so the best estimates is that LDL test is effective in 85% of the patients. So there's no reason not for us not to take that test. But that 15% number, that's a big number still of people, because almost everyone seems to get a cholesterol test. So it's interesting to think about cholesterol tests being totally upended, and us focusing on this more specific test going on. Two last stories. One, at the last year during the run-up to the U.S. presidential election, the French prime minister issued a challenge for more American climate scientists to come to France.
Make the world great again.
Yeah, and this actually happened in alignment with the U.S. pulling out of the Paris Agreement. And he said he would put up money for them. And there would be 1.5 million euro awards if you're a climate scientist and you wanted to move to France.
And
today was ongoing right now is the One Climate Summit, and they announced 18 initial winners. So 18 foreign scientists, a few are based in the U.S., that are going to France to pursue this. And Macron was very magnanimous in his announcement of this, let's just say, is really taking shots at U.S. policy when he made this announcement. I think it's just interesting policy. Are we going to see a competition for scientists? We never have competitions for scientists to switch countries. Yeah. Be like American Idol for scientists. We're going to have a little competition.
They just have to stay until 2020.
Yeah, they don't have to stay that long. France is nice.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think, and 1.5 million euros is actually not that much money.
Yeah, it's expensive to live there.
But, that's enough money for most of these researchers to operate their lab for 3 years.
Yep.
Last story is we're all fans of Jurassic Park.
Hey, what about that new trailer?
Was there a new Jurassic Park trailer?
Yeah, there was.
No, thank you.
Jurassic World?
Fallen Kingdom.
Oh. Yuck. Well, they did discover a piece of amber that was that was embedded in it is a dinosaur feather, essentially a wing, and they found a tick in it.
Oh, parasitic relationship.
And so this is the first establishment of ticks actually feeding on dinosaurs.
Really?
And because it's direct
evidence.
Michael Crichton made that up?
We had mosquitoes.
Oh, was that a mosquito?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here we go. We got a tick.
That's
Ticks eat blood, right? Just put that needle in there. Get some dinosaurs.
Dino DNA.
DNA degrades
all right,
more quickly than that. But for all those Jurassic Park lovers out there.
The VR Minute. Virtual reality this week.
Big release in the VR world this week. We have Bethesda not only putting out Doom VR, VFR, but Fallout 4 VR out as of 2 days ago.
Oh, man, it's such a commitment, isn't it?
It's a big game.
I know.
It's a massive game. Now, it works on Rift. People are able to run it on Rift. And some people say it actually runs better on Rift.
Really?
Yep, because of the screen door effect. But I think that's largely because they kind of botched the launch a little bit with the default settings. There's some anti-aliasing and some texture rendering settings that were on by default in Fallout 4, and they've since patched it, and that has solved all those problems. I am very excited for this, because I'd never played through Fallout 4, and I've been waiting to play it on VR. Some things, you have your Pip-Boy,
which is cool
fine.
because you actually lift your wrist up, and suddenly your controller now actually maps to the Pip-Boy. It's neat.
Yep. Controls are definitely, it's a robust RPG, so controls are tough because there are only so many things you have, and they're still mostly buttons.
Yeah.
Button controlled.
It's tough because the game was not made for these controllers.
Exactly. And there are elements of the game, like, for example, scopes that don't work because they decided not to make the game, not to make the scopes actually look throughable. But I don't know if anyone who's played through Fallout 4 would want to replay the game, though.
I don't know. If you played through Fallout 4, you'd love it, and you'd probably love to go there.
Are the old games that you played through that you want to replay through in VR?
Well, I'm not that. And, I'm talking about the kids.
Okay.
The kids with the time.
Kids at the time. Jason Rubin recently did an interesting interview, I want to say with VR Focus, where he reiterated the fact, something I think we all kind of understood, that there would be no Rift 2 in 2018.
That's kind of a relief. All these people who are getting Rift for the holidays.
For a great price.
Yeah.
$350 in some cases.
Yeah. And that, he's excited for all these games. They were doing like a new game every month this year. Next year will be less than that, but maybe deeper games.
Exactly.
And we're all hoping for some type of MMO.
That's what he said. He said his dream is to bring an MMO to the platform. Now, does that mean that they're working on one?
Like a native MMO, like one that's designed exclusively for VR.
A VR, and there are
That's the metaverse.
There are VR MMOs out there, at least in beta.
Yeah,
but not one first party. That's very interesting.
Yep. And then Vive Tracker came out earlier this year. We haven't seen a ton of accessories. The Vive website does have a few. One that may be notable, and I think we've talked about this before, is the Hyper Blaster. Looks like an NES.
Zapper.
The light gun.
It looks just like it.
Right.
Duck Hunt in VR. Here we come.
It's made for duck season.
Oh, it's awesome.
And it's expensive, $150.
Does it come with the tracker? Yeah.
It must.
So the tracker's at $99. So it's a $50 controller that basically only works for this game. I mean, you can use it for, I assume you can use it for other shooters. Yeah. Playing a lot of Doom VFR recently, I'm not a fan of the ergonomics of the Vive Wand as a pistol.
Wait, aren't you playing it on PSVR?
I'm doing both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a future Bits to Atoms here? Build a weapon attach to a Vive tracker?
That'd be fun. Yeah, especially now we have this one. We could take this gun apart and see how it controls the tracker.
The Vive tracker has all the connections.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
That you can map to all the buttons.
Let's do that.
And then back to the Game Awards, the makers of Job Simulator,
Alchemy Labs,
who are bought by Google, announced their next game, and maybe unsurprisingly, maybe surprisingly, it's a follow-up to Job Simulator, and it's called Vacation Simulator.
I'm surprised by this, given that they work for Google.
That they can do something that's just in its tone and spirit.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not the only thing they're working on, but a follow-up, I mean, Job Simulator...
Does Google have any VR headset that has tracked controllers?
No.
I mean,
they got to be experimenting in VR.
But no doubt.
Right.
But given that they were hired at Google, I assume that this would be like a Daydream product.
Yeah. So this is a full track controller, same aesthetic, same kind of future world. The robots trying to relive what humanity was like in the 21st century, and it's going on vacations. There's literally not much more than the short teaser trailer they released.
I love Job Simulator. Why wouldn't I love Vacation Simulator?
Exactly. That does it for the VR Minute this week. Let's quickly go to what we've
testing this week. Hey, what have you guys been testing?
I've been testing something that came out this year called the Raspberry Pi Zero W.
Okay.
The W stands for Wi-Fi.
Oh.
So they took a Raspberry Pi 3 and they got the Wi-Fi business out of that, and they put it into a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is the tiny $5 job. And I connected to a screen that has 256 pixels, and I made a mini game frame, which is, you've been watching it the whole show, obviously. It's been right in front of you if you're watching the video. I 3D printed a frame for it, and it works pretty well. It's fun. The screen is, I forget what it's called, like the Pi Moroni, but you can find it on Adafruit. Super easy Python library to make it display images. It's fun.
I actually really like this form factor.
Adorable. Yeah. You planning on selling it, or
no? I might give away designs once it's if it's finished, but. It's just, how much time do I want to spend actually making the whole game frame work? Right now, it just cycles the images. But it was fun. It was fun to make. And the Raspberry Pi is super powerful. I love this little thing. You can't buy these in bulk yet. They're still very...
You still have to buy them one at a time?
Yeah, like Adafruit will only sell you one.
And I like the actual bezel you have around this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a 3D print.
Yeah, the whole 3D printed on the multi-material upgrade for the Prusa.
So both that black and the wood grain
printed at once,
and the wood. It's a wood filament.
Yep,
that's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people out there may be interested in a tiny version of the game frame.
Oh gosh, I hope not. I'm just saying that I've been testing the Raspberry Pi and it's fun.
All right, I've been testing these headphones. Hi-Fi Man.
Are those your?
for XX by Mastrop.
What's the technology?
They're planar magnetic.
That's
headphones. Patrick Norton recommended them to me.
Magnets. How do they work, man?
A year ago. It's an old technology, and they're really big drivers over a big area, and they're leaky. They're no good sound isolation or no noise canceling. They're wired, but gosh darn it, they're the best headphones I owned.
Gosh darn it.
Best sounding headphones I owned.
I'm testing the Ring Doorbell 2, and I hate it.
What do you mean?
Somebody came to my door while we were doing this podcast.
Did you upgrade? Because you had this last week. Same thing.
Did I mention it last week?
Maybe not. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. But you said 2, so I didn't know if you.
Yeah,
okay.
it's the Ring Doorbell 2.
Right.
It just has such inconsistent connection to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Even when signal strength is strong, so you get inconsistent video recording.
Doorbells.
Yeah.
Doorbell. Somebody's got to figure out that technology. Uh-oh.
Someone's getting an alarm. Oh no! I think
I think that does it for us this week.
Does it for us this week for this episode. Next week we'll be talking a lot about The Last Jedi, and it will be our last podcast before Christmas. But I think we're going to try to do one more podcast between Christmas and New Year, so wrap up the year.
Something.
Best things.
Yeah. Do we have an outro
from Foggin?
Hi there, I didn't see you. Test it.
I want to do it with a pig now. Do it with a pig.
Test it.
When was that?
I don't know.
know.
Pig.
All right.
What are you doing with a pig? What is happening with your phones over there?
So, podcast is done, but podcast is not done because we're sticking around. We're going to do some fake outtakes and special fake outtakes this week. I'm going to decrease the volume here.
Good move. Good move.
We're going to play some HQ trivia.
That was pro.
We're going to do it for all you guys out there.
You fire it up. I haven't seen this game yet.
And live commentary.
Because it's not available on
Here's what's
Android.
going on. I'm already hitting the lag. Hitting lag.
I'm not even on Wi-Fi.
So 216,000 people right now are logged in because it's 12 p.m. noon on the day we're recording this podcast. And here's what the experience is like if you're on an Android phone or if you haven't tried this right now.
Schedule.
Oh, no. We're competing over Wi-Fi.
Are you on 2.4 or 5 gigahertz?
One of us should not be on Wi-Fi. I'm going to be not on Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi signal sucks.
Our Wi-Fi is really terrible in the office. So here's how it works. It's an app that gives you notification when they do these trivia games twice a day. $1,500 up for grabs, and we have hopefully the audio plugged in so you can hear the game.
I don't hear anything.
I have no internet right now in this room. This is gonna be a terrible
How
experience.
do we have no internet?
We have.
How is that possible?
Did they hide the router? I mean, is it really like in a steel box or something?
We're just in a really bad place in the office right now. I have the lag. I have 3 bars of LTE. So
I get your neighbors.
And it's still not loading.
So it could be lag also on their HQ trivia server side. This is an ongoing problem with this service. It was started by ex-Vine founders, and it has kind of exploded. There's actually some controversy. They have a host that does all the Q&A or all the trivia questions. Scott, right? Is that his name?
I forget.
No one cares. And he was almost fired. He did an interview with I want to say Business Insider. And
this is not going to work.
The founders of HQ Trivia said that take down the story or we'll fire our host. It's all good now, theoretically.
Is there a way you can make the... What we got there?
I got the spinning circle also.
I went on 4G, but this does not bode well.
Yeah? Go on Wi-Fi.
I tried. It's like... we need Ethernet in here and like share the internet through our laptops. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Or some router. Just run a router.
Oh, wait, Jeremy's got it.
Well,
the game's gonna start in minute 19. Oh my god, I'm gonna give you the audio.
No, it's not. It's frozen up, dude. This is not gonna work.
Oh my god, game's starting.
Stuck on a minute 19. That's fine. We got this.
This is horrible.
We're gonna try to make this work. Game's gonna start in a minute 60 seconds.
How hard is this game?
We should get Jeremy's heart rate monitor throughout the game.
He has the Apple Watch.
Yeah, I want to see how.
I think he's stone
excited
cold.
You get
stone cold.
Come on, load! Damn you, load!
Can you share your internet through USB? You can't do that.
No,
I disconnected.
one way work. Yeah, are you on Wi-Fi or are you on LTE?
Me?
Yeah.
I turned on Wi-Fi, but it doesn't seem to be helping.
Me neither.
I think we're going to cut this because this is not going to work.
You want me to turn on my hotspot?
We might have missed it. We might have missed it. Are we too late?
Well, I don't know.
No, I have terrible reception in here. Wow, this is the worst outtake ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to fill up time. Headphones connected.
We're going to walk out there and they're all playing.
We got to figure out this Wi-Fi problem. It's like who knows if your connection's any good? It's just the Wi-Fi is weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just got to reposition your router.
No, how come it's not working over mobile data, though?
303,000 people.
Only have
it's a new host. Here we go.
Getting some of you paid.
This is not Scott at all.
As they say, once a
I'm
mind
LTE.
is
Oh, I
stretched
know
by
that
a
guy.
new idea,
Who's this guy?
He's
never
a
returns
host.
to its
Jason
original
Silva is his
position.
name. He was a host on National Geographic.
All right, let's listen
He's
to
been on my
we're back.
podcast.
We're back, guys. We're going to play HQ Trivia. Try to win some big
So
money.
we're about
Real
to
cash
get
money.
things started here. Welcome, my friends, to HQ. This is what you're here to play.
Right?
A
Isn't that
revolutionary
Jason Silva?
Live trivia game streaming on your
What
phone
happened to Scott?
where you answer difficult questions to win cash prizes.
What happened
Cash
to
Take a
Scott?
second
prizes.
and
You
realize
can. So,
this is
Kishore,
happening
you're on an
in
Android phone. You're
real
going to help.
time, live.
How am I gonna help?
interactive, and
I'm going to use my brain.
Use
That's
your
how I'm
brain.
going to help.
All right, here are the rules. 12 questions, 10 seconds to tap the answer.
All right.
Get one wrong.
We'll play it
you're
together
out.
as a team.
Get them all right, and you'll win or split the cash.
It is definitely
Today's
Jason
cash prize,
Silva.
my friends, is $1,500. Pretty amazing.
That's right.
Nobody wins, that cash rolls.
$1,500.
over to the
That's not
next
even
game.
enough.
If nobody wins, it rolls over.
All
Wow.
right, so we have
All right, here
about
we go.
315,000 players.
Oh, no lag.
Eric, Benji, what's up, guys? Cammy and Elle.
Shout out Norm.
I'm getting excited.
Shout out
Take a
Norm.
breath.
Norm
Jason,
Chan.
start this thing
Norm
already.
Chan.
Let's get it going.
Let's go.
Question 1.
Here we go.
What is the scientific study of the nervous system? Anxiety, neuroscience,
It's neuroscience.
or Scientology?
Oh, it's definitely Scientology. Click
God
Scientology.
damn, Kishore. We can't get the first question
I
wrong.
did brain games, so I do know that the correct answer is, drum roll,
Neuroscience.
the correct answer, my friends, is neuroscience.
Yes!
That's right.
1 out of 12.
AKA neurobiology, but
Ka-ching!
not AKA neurology.
We're in it.
And let's see, about
I helped.
285,000 of you got that right.
8,000 people said
congratulations. We're still
anxiety.
playing. Let's go to the next question.
4,500 people said Scientology.
This is a bad
All
tap.
right. Warming it up, getting it set up here.
Turn off notifications.
Next question is, as it loads, get more excited. Which
Nice.
gas is used in hot air balloons? Propane, flatulence,
Bovine flatulence
or
or xenon.
xenon.
Is it propane or
It
xenon?
is propane.
Think
propane.
about it
Clicking
closely
propane.
before you decide.
Why would it be
So, my friends,
xenon?
the correct answer is actually propane. That's right. A byproduct.
Well, he's not-
of
there's no jokes.
refining
He's just getting
natural
right
gas
to
You know
it.
what?
and petroleum.
Cow
It's
flatulence,
pretty amazing.
not a
There's company
terrible
actually
answer
developed
here.
it.
Oh, yeah.
50,000
Basically
you got that
saying
right.
methane
Nice work.
is used.
And there's actually a balloon company called Balloon.
Methane is too light. It would actually seep through the balloon material.
I love this commentary, the science angle to HQ Trivia.
Xenon.
Next question.
Xenon's
next
ridiculous.
question.
Animals is not a source of ivory.
Walrus, rhino, elk.
Rhino,
Elk.
or elk.
Elk.
Now,
Elk.
I was recently on safari
So-
in South Africa, which was a game-changing
They've
experience, and I
installed
had a direct
Wi-Fi camera apps
encounter
inside of the
with
tusks
right
of the
answer,
black
which is
rhino to actually track
Now,
behavior.
rhino horns are
Hopefully
actually
it's
made
not
up of
the ring.
keratin, the same substance
No, it's rhino.
fingernails, believe it or not.
I've been
And
eliminated.
Let's see, about 28,000 of you got that right.
Elk have
They
ivory?
don't contain any ivory. Elks actually contain 2 ivory teeth. So there you go. You
Oh
learned
my
Oh,
Next question.
elk have
Wow,
ivory
that was a
teeth?
savage
Which
question.
of these is not a city?
Sorry.
Oh, we're done.
Venezuela?
We're done.
We're done.
That's really disappointing.
Damn it! I had a good story about cameras
Elk
inside
have
of.
2 ivory teeth.
Barcelona is not a city in
Santa
Venezuela.
Marta,
We would have gotten this one right.
or
I can't believe
Barcelona.
No.
rhino
I
is
am
not a
from
source of
Venezuela,
ivory.
I don't wanna play
actually.
anymore.
So I know
I
that
can't
the
believe
correct
elk have
answer
ivory
is the
teeth.
following. I'm teasing you. 2 more seconds. 1 more second. The
Wow,
correct
they'd
answer,
already.
friends,
So
What's it down to?
I'm turning down. It was down to basically. I think it was down to 18,000.
what?
Did everybody choose elk?
Most people chose elk.
That's mean.
Yeah. So that was a savage
That's
question.
savage.
Yeah. I've turned down the audio because we're done. We're not gonna listen to it. We're not gonna play the rest of it. But what boggles my mind is the number of players, people watching, and even when they get these hard questions and so many people are knocked out, most people continue watching because they like playing the trivia game.
They want to know if they could have won.
Right. They want to get that dopamine drop.
Yeah.
Right? It's gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably could have won.
I feel like I'm going to get savaged over missing that rhino thing.
Well, it's all in public.
No.
It's on the podcast.
You saw how many people thought it was elk.
Yeah.
No, but I'm a moment of science.
Yeah.
Sure, so embarrassed.
One of the wonderful things about science is you can be wrong. Scientists love being wrong because it means they can work on another theory.
All right. That was our attempt to play HQ Trivia with you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.